Hey, what's up everyone? Bene here. This week I want to talk about one way that's going to help strengthen the connection between your ear and your instrument, or your voice and your instrument. So you're able to play what you hear in your head while you're improvising a lot easier. This is the type of something that I wish I knew when I was a beginner, because it's a super simple concept to implement while you're practicing and while you're listening to music that it's just gonna really get your ear connected to your instrument. But it's not just for beginners, it can be used for all levels of performers and improvisers. So if you're interested, let's hang out for like the next 5 to 10 minutes, however long this video ends up being. Here we go. First, let's talk about how being able to play what you hear in your head directly relates to improvising. When a performer improvises, when done correctly, there has to be a connection between their ear or their mind's ear and their instruments, so they're able to take the music inside of their brain and get it out to the world. You could think about this as basically the instrument being an extension of someone's voice, or the player's voice. And the same part of the brain that controls your voice and like the pitches your voice can hit is in direct connection with your instrument. I'll demonstrate that right now. So if I take a melody that I already know in my head and I sing it. Okay, let's see. Da 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 da. So right there, I'm not thinking about like my fingers or anything like that. I'm literally thinking of the melody that I just sang in my head, and I'm thinking about just singing it through my instrument. Let's do one more. Boo boo da boo be da boo ba boo ba boo boo ba. Actually ended up being in my B major. But that's it, and the key doesn't matter because it's just a sound within your head. I mean, unless you have perfect pitch, you find out the key after the fact, because after you play it on your instrument and you're like, oh, okay, that's B major. But otherwise, it's just a sound, and that sound is then connected to the horn. So hopefully that helps you understand this ear instrument connection. But even before this connection between your ear and your voice for an improviser, you have to have melodies in your head already to be able to recall while you're improvising. It's not like I just sang some random string of notes and then I played them. I mean, those melodies that I played, I got them from maybe solos I transcribed or music I listened to. I mean, that's just how it happens. Now, it's always your interpretation of these melodies, and it's sometimes combinations of these melodies, and it all comes from your own processing of how you process the music and how you want to express yourself through all of this stuff you've internalized through your music experience. And in jazz and other certain styles of music, we call these melodic ideas that we kind of put into our psyche for when we improvise, we call this language. And language, just like when we speak a language with everyone, it's a way to communicate. In music, it's the same way. And there's specific language for every style of music that was placed by or implemented by all the performers in the music's history, passed down, and then the students of the music need to study those past musicians, and that's how the language forms over time. Now, with that said, whether you know it or not, everyone has some sort of bank of melodies in their head, or some sort of language of music or melodic ideas inside their head, just simply from the music you've listened to throughout your entire life. So you have to understand that improvising and playing what you hear in your head doesn't just come from nothing. Like, these melodies don't just like happen. If done correctly, they're coming from all the musical ideas that have been embedded into our conscious and subconscious mind. And us as improvisers are always trying to expand this bank of melodies so we can better express ourselves. One way to increase your musical knowledge is to simply transcribe solos, but the trick to this is you want to make sure that you're audiating what you're playing. And that basically means that you want to be able to really hear in your head or sing along in your head while you're playing these solos. Adam Neely has a great video on audiation. I'll post a link in the description below to that. The best way to check if you're audiating is to just sing out loud what you're transcribing or the music you're learning. So you're able to know you're hearing it in your head if you can sing it with your voice. And then you want to be able to sing it while you're playing playing within your head. String and percussion instrumentalists, this is a little easy for them because they can literally sing while they're playing because there's no instrument in their mouth. They have it a bit easier. So horn players need to work a little bit harder, I think, with this concept. But a more direct first step, and this is finally the concept that I want to share with everyone that's great for beginners and all levels. The first step is to start out by being very mindful of melodies whenever you listen to music. It doesn't have to be jazz, it can be any music you listen to. Try to audiate or sing along in your head to the music, even if it's music you've never heard before. Try to really engage your mind and almost feel like the music is making a footprint within your mind, especially if it's music you never listened to before. If you find a melody you really like, learn how to sing it, and then take it to your horn and learn it on your instrument, but use your voice as a guide. Don't use the recording. When you get comfortable with that lick or melodic idea on your instrument, the trick is, again, to really focus on the melody and the sound and not focus on your fingers or anything else, or like the sheet music in your head. It's all about the sound. If you do this correct and you get really comfortable with it, you'll be able to play that melodic idea with ease anywhere, anytime, and use it while you're improvising. At first, this concept may be a little difficult to grasp onto. It was for me at first, as it's kind of abstract and it might be hard to tell if you're really focusing on the melody in your head or audiating while you're playing, or you're focusing on your fingers or like other theoretical concepts. And I say theoretical concepts because when I was first doing this, I was so worried about, the chords I was playing over and the scales I needed to use that I really had no idea like what I was actually playing. Like I didn't hear what I was playing. So what helped me was screaming in my head the melody that I was playing, or screaming in my head while I'm improvising. And I actually heard this idea from an interview with Dizzy Gillespie. I don't know if actually you saw the interview or someone just told me about the interview. But Dizzy Gillespie, when asked what he thinks about when he's playing, he said, well, I'm singing along in my head with what I'm improvising. But he says he doesn't just sing. He doesn't go boo ba doo ba bee ba hoo ba dee bop. He goes boo ba doo ba dee ba doo ba dee bop. He does that. He screams it out loud, so he has a really clear, strong sense of the melodic ideas of where his solo is going. So I started doing this type of audiation where I'm really screaming in my head, not just when I was playing my instrument, but when I was listening to music. And it wasn't just when I was improvising, it was when I was reading music too. I would be yelling these melodies within my head. Even if I was playing soft, it would still be a very loud sing-along in my head. So to wrap this all up, the first steps you want to take to being able to play what you hear in your head is to start audiating everything you listen to and everything you play. Audiating while you listen to music will start to develop more melodic ideas that you can use while you're improvising. And then audiating while you play your instrument is going to strengthen the connection between your ear and your instrument. The more you do this, it's going to really just become a habit and an unconscious process. Plus, you'll get just much more enjoyment out of music and playing music because you're going to start to internalize music on a much deeper level. Be patient with this. I mean, this is something that you have to shed a long time. It's a very long process, but I do think you'll start to see some progress or a certain feeling within, a few months, honestly. But just really keep yourself on top of it. It's something that you can just do whenever you're listening to music, and again, whenever you're playing music. I do plan to put out a PDF that's going to have certain licks that go to common chord progressions that's gonna focus on strengthening the ear and instrument connection. The melodies I give you, again, are just gonna be a guide, and the point will be to make sure you'll be able to sing these melodies, audiate them while you're playing, and then be able to improvise with them freely over the set chord changes. So if you want that PDF, it's in the works, but be sure to subscribe and you won't miss that. I really appreciate you guys watching this video again, and I hope to see you next week. Sometimes it feels like I haven't played in like months.